Coming up next on Get Caught in a Net.
Caught in a net, with a net, for your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net, with a net. It's your intellectual radio show, here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net, with a net.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your host, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey guys, welcome to another wonderful segment of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I'm your girl, Annette Harris. I am so excited that you have consented to join us on today. Listen, I am also your Sash Talk blog and podcast host and your certified positive mental health ambassador. Listen, today's show is going to be really on fire. I just want to let you know that we're going to have a great conversation on today. But you know what? Before I get started, let me pray. Lord, we thank you for all things. We thank you for what you've done, what you're going to do, how you're blessing, how you're opening up our eyes and helping us to realize exactly what it is that you would have us to do. We pray that you would get the glory out of this segment and everything we go to say and do. In Jesus' name we pray. And the opening scripture, the first part of Hosea 4:6 states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And again, I'm excited that you're here. You can view us on my Facebook page, Annette Get Caught in the Net. It's an open public page. You can go there. And then also on my YouTube channel, Get Caught in the Net Incorporated. Please make sure you go over there, click subscribe, and of course the bell to know when we go live. Also, at the end of this segment, I'm going to upload this to our Instagram channel at Get Caught in the Net for you on today for your listening pleasure. I'm so excited to get to talk about mental health. You know, I feel like a kid in a candy store when we talk about mental health because it's so important, and I realize the importance of it. So I have solicited the help of a young woman of God. I'm so impressed with her. I can't say it enough to her, and she probably doesn't really know how impressed I am with her. She is a content creator. She is a social media influencer. She is a young woman of God who loves the Lord and loves his people. And I'm going to bring her on today. Her name is Gabryelle Lockhart. And I love the way they spell Gabryelle too. I just wanted to throw that in there. But Gabryelle is, she's going to come in from my virtual waiting room on today. And we're going to talk with her. And the title we're talking today is Improving Mental Health Through Personal Passion. All right. So if you've seen my videos, if you've seen my promos talking about today, then you'll know what the conversation will be on. Gabrielle, how are you feeling on today?
Hi, I'm feeling excited to dive into this conversation. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, honey, thank you so much for accepting the invitation. I know I reached out to her, and that's a little background, little our little story there. But I did reach out to her, and she finally consented. But I'm so glad she's here today. But you know what? I want to tell you guys, and I'll have her, of course, throughout the show and maybe towards the end of the show to let you know where you can find her because she's got a great following. I can't think of how many thousands of people are following her, but they're right to follow her. If you go onto her channel, YouTube, it's under your name, right? Gabryelle Lockhart.
Yes, Gabryelle Lockhart on all social media platforms. That's where you could find me.
Yes. When I grow up, I'm gonna be like her, y'all.
Oh my
So
goodness.
listen, I want you guys to show her some love. This is her first time here. I've actually had her parents on
Yes.
as guests before. I've had her wonderful, beautiful mom, Lady Marichelle Lockhart, on
Mm-hmm.
to talk about her book and all that she's doing. We had her under our spouses segment, ministry spouses segment, probably about a couple of years ago now, I think. And then I had my big brother, Pastor Kenneth Lockhart. He
Mm-hmm.
actually on because he was promoting someone else. That's the thing about this family. They have a love for God's people and they have a
Yes.
love for making sure that we get what we need as God's children, to be able to live in this life. And I appreciate that. And I thank God for the Lockhart family. I love me some Lockhart family. I just
We
throw that
love
out.
you too.
Love them. They're sweet and genuine. And I see you guys are starting to come in, and I do appreciate you. So if you can do me a favor, go ahead, click the share button, click the thumbs up, the heart, the care button, if you would not mind. Let us know that you're on today. We would love to, of course, show your comments when you come in. So if you don't say anything, I won't know that you're there. So let me real quick before we get into anything. I see you, David Collins. Thank you so much for coming on today. Good afternoon, sis. So glad to make the live broadcast. I'm glad you're here too. And I see Mama is, let's see, she is tagging individuals. Thank you so much. You guys, the rest of you that come in, you can do that as well. Tag individuals into this into this live feed. She said we love you too. I know I saw my big brother on. I don't think he said anything, but I see him on. I don't know if you're able to talk or not, but well, maybe what Lady Marichelle said. Is that your testimony too? You love us too. Okay, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. There he is. Look, I put him on the
Oh, there
spot.
he
He
is.
finally said something. Good afternoon. Great afternoon to you too, Pastor. We appreciate you. Listen, we're going to hop in here today because looking at this young lady's her profile, her social media platforms, I I can't say enough how impressed I am. I don't know. You young people sometimes you all show us the way. With some things. I'm telling you. I'm looking on her YouTube channel, guys. This young lady, she on there talking and putting on makeup. There is no way I can do that. I'll have to concentrate on one thing or the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I put on makeup, it'll probably be all up here, because I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm saying. But she does it with such ease. So when I looked at, you and all that you're doing, and knowing that you have your undergrad, what was the major?
Psychology. I got my bachelor's in psychology. Yes.
Right. Yes, you did. So let me do this. Let me allow you to talk to my listeners and those that are watching on today. Tell them about Gabrielle in your own words, because I don't want to speak for you. And just introduce yourself for me, if you would not mind.
Okay, well, I'm coming after a pretty grand introduction, if I do say so myself. That was like, I'm over here blushing. Do you see?
Yay!
But thank you so much. But as you mentioned, I am a content creator, social media influencer, and it started because I was really into beauty and fashion, and that was really the only goal that I had was I want to make outfits and I want to put outfits together and I want to look pretty on social media and get paid for it because now in this day and time you can do that. And so I wanted that to be my job. However, in the pandemic, when I really came into my personal relationship with God, He started to unpack to me what this platform was actually for. It wasn't just about looking good, but it was about feeling good as well. And so once I got my bachelor's in psychology, I did graduate last year from Purdue University. Yay! He really started to give me more wisdom about how mental health is so important amongst the Christian community and how I could use my platform to make a positive impact in that specific area. And so that is what I've been doing as of recently. And soon I plan to go on and continue to get my master's to get even more education and knowledge on this field. So, yeah, that is me.
Okay, okay. Now let me ask you real quick.
Mhm.
Before you, when did you start the your platforms on social media? Was it before you went and was studying psychology,
It was
or
actually in
was
the
it during?
midst of it. It was in the pandemic in 2020 when I actually got consistent in my social media. It's when I started my channel. Yes. Yep.
Okay, tell everybody how many followers you have on YouTube, subscribers.
I really don't keep up with the number like I used to. I believe
Wow,
maybe I'm around 5,000 subscribers now on YouTube. Across
I
all
thought it
my
was more than
platforms,
that.
I don't remember. Um, but I do know it's in the thousands. It's in the thousands. It's up there. It's yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was more than five, way more
Well,
than five.
I have 5,000 subscribers. I know on TikTok it was around 40K, and on Instagram I know I recently reached like 14K, and it's just unbelievable to me. I don't even like to unpack the number because I really don't look at the people who follow me as a number. I genuinely care about the responsibility God has given me to speak to these people, and so I don't even like to call them these people. They're like my family. I love talking to them. I love learning more about them and just being able to share with them the knowledge that God is sharing with me. We're just kind of doing life together with Jesus over here. So,
See,
yeah.
I love that. I love that spirit. I love your
hmm
spirit. Okay, let's unpack this a little bit. Okay, so you have
Okay.
all these followers, but you don't necessarily look at your numbers. You're just focusing on what God has given you to give to the people. So if it was whether it's 10 or 10,000, you're
hmm
just making sure that you do what God has instructed you to do. Do I have that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's a wonderful mentality to have, because as well as I do, how we can be influenced
hmm
by those numbers. And if the numbers are not necessarily looking right, we can get a little discouraged. Ask me
hmm
how I know. But you're not looking at numbers. Okay, so that's another thing I'm learning from you. That's good. Listen, guys, on today, I'm gonna throw this back out here. We're talking about how we can improve our mental health through our passion, and so Gabrielle is going to talk about her passion and what kind of got her into this area. You already heard her mention about she's always been and she has been a fashionista, so if I
Yes.
can say that, and so she wanted to incorporate that, and so God will use our different skills and talents
hmm
for his glory, and I love it, but I'm also still amazed at how you just really started this back, really getting really into it in 2020, and it's only
Yes.
3 years and you got about half the world looking at you. But obviously, it's the day and time that we live in. It's what the people need, what the people want, what they're searching for.
hmm
Why do you think that your numbers increased like that? I know you're not, y'all know you don't look at them, you don't focus
Right.
on them,
Right.
but
Right.
why do you think that they increased that quickly in this
Well,
such a short amount of time?
To be honest, how you said, ask me how I know, I used to be into the number. And it was because, like I said, when I first started my platform, I was just interested in making something I was passionate about, which was fashion and looking good, a job. I wanted to kind of enter into that entrepreneurship field. My parents have been entrepreneurs my whole entire life. So I was like, I don't really want to work for anybody else. I want to do my own thing. And I was like, this is what I can do. And so, because of that, I did care about the numbers, because if you don't have good numbers, you don't get brand deals. And if you don't get brand deals, you don't get paid. And so, it was like, that was the only reason I was into it. But I think it was so innocently, it was so vain. And I was kind of minimizing myself and putting limits on what God could do with my platform. And so when I really realized that, like, okay, people want to look good, and I could influence them to buy this T-shirt and spend their money, but then they're gonna put it on and they're gonna feel just as bad as they did before they put it on, and that's not the goal here. And so as I grew in my relationship with God, literally I just started talking about it on my platform, and I was so honest about it. I was so raw about it. It was a place where I could just be me and be myself. And I started to share that. And when I started to do that, that is exactly when my platform started to grow. I started to focus on relationships with people. I started to focus on just understanding what I can influence people to do. I don't want to just influence you to spend your money. I want to influence you to get closer to God. I want to influence you to have a healthier mindset, which will lead to a healthier overall lifestyle. I just wanted people to grow with me as I was growing. And so that's how it happened. And I just blinked my eye, and all of a sudden I had thousands of people, and I was like, God, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to say to all these people. Like, why do they keep following me? And he just encouraged me to stay authentic, to stay true to myself, and just share what he tells me to share. And since I started doing it, he's never stopped talking to me and giving me something to share with his
Wow.
people. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. I know you're young,
Mm-hmm.
in age, but your mindset, your mentality is you have a mentality of an older person.
I
Um,
get that a lot.
if I can say it like that. But you know what though? You mentioned about, okay, why are these people following me? And it's almost like, when you said that, it's almost like I had a visual of people like literally following you, not just on social
Wow.
media, but following you. And I see it because you have, or you're presenting something that they want,
Mm.
they need. you know, Reality TV shows, I'm not sure. I don't know the year it really became popular, but it had to been some time ago when reality TV shows became so popular and people were like, we were really watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that? Because we were seeing ourselves in those people
Yes.
that were, being portrayed on TV.
Mm.
I can see myself doing that, so then you start searching, how can I get on that show? How can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? So people, they see that. They see, and so I think people see themselves in what you're saying. While you're being transparent. I'm looking at some of your videos and I'm like, wow, she is really being transparent. Wow. Now I'm gonna tell you something. That's
Mm-hmm.
another thing that we older generation have learned or can learn because we've been taught too much. Don't you talk about that? No,
Yes.
what happens in your house stays in your house. No, you dealing with some depression or whatever. Don't you talk about that. No, no, you're not. You're not dealing with
Mm-hmm.
that. And it's always it's pushed down or
Yes.
pushed away, or we're being told we should not address that. But the
Yes.
fact of the matter remains is that we should. We
We
have to. We
should.
need to, because there's
Yes.
so much that's happening around us. If you would look back, you will see the connection that it
Mm-hmm.
has to, our mental state. You will see the connection that it has with how we were raised, how we grew up, and this, that,
Yes.
and the other. So it, we got to talk about it.
We
We have
gotta
to address
talk
it.
about it. We have to talk about it. God revealed something to me, that vulnerability is our superpower, but transparency is other people's. And so when people are able to see what you're being vulnerable about with yourself, that empowers them. And they're able to see, like,
Yeah.
hey, okay, like they went through this or she went through that, and how did she get through it, and how did it's really encouraging. And I think that's one of the main things we should do as believers, to encourage each other that, hey, this stuff happens, this stuff is real, we got some real struggles. And so with the mental health, it was something I grew up struggling with anxiety really bad. I mean, I was struggling with it before I even knew what it was called. And
Yes.
the only thing I would hear all the time is the scripture, be not anxious, be not anxious. And I know that's a scripture and I know it's a real scripture. But what ended up happening is there was this festered up guilt and shame that I got, because I'm like, you believe in the God that is telling you to not be anxious, yet you're anxious. And so I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't share it with anybody. And here I was in this brick wall with the devil just beating up on me, because no one knows that he's beating up on me. And so it's like, okay, you're not supposed to be anxious, but you're anxious, and God's upset with you. And all those different things. And it wasn't until I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to be honest with the fact that I am dealing with anxiety, God, and I know you told me not to, so I need you to help me. Like, we need to figure this out, because something's not, the math isn't mathing. And when I did that, I posted a whole video about my college testimony, and I was really me expressing that, hey, I was anxious about all these things going on in my life. I was dealing with anxiety. And when I posted that video, it was like I felt the first weight of, being lifted off my shoulder. It's like, okay, you're starting to be honest about this. You're starting to talk about this. I'm like, okay. And then I was in therapy and I started to unpack where the anxiety came from. I think a lot of people misinterpret what therapy is. They think that therapy replaces God, and it doesn't. They think that when you go to see a therapist or you seek any type of counseling, that the counselor is like a magic genie and they snap their fingers and boom, you're healed. When really in therapy, you do most of the talking and you do all of the work. You're just seeking counseling, which will give you wisdom. So the therapy isn't healing, the therapy gives you wisdom. And so I was able to get wisdom on where the root of my anxiety came from. And so then when I had quiet time with God, it wasn't just God heal me from this anxiety. It was God heal me from X, Y, and Z, because this is the cause of why I'm feeling this way. And so I really just want to use my platform to further educate people that, hey, no, we don't have to live in anxiety, but if you do, you can talk about it, and it's okay to get help so that you can get on the right path of how you can actually be living your life. And I'm ready to expose the devil, because he's got us in these like traps that we've fallen in. And I just want us to get out of that. We need to start talking about this stuff and exposing him more, putting him out there and telling on him. Like, let's tell on the devil. Look, he's doing this to me. He's making me anxious today. He's making me this today. He's tempting me today. I'm ready to put him on the front line so that everybody knows his tricks, his schemes, his ways, and we're able to overcome them. And so that was a whole tangent, but it just, just
Oh my God. No, 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 no. I like that. See, I love this kind of conversation. Like I
mm,
said earlier, I'm like a kid in a candy store when you talk about the mental health aspect. But I'm listening to you, and you're proving it all the more about how sometimes we go through things ourselves, and things affect us, and so then out of that we want to try and find a resolve, because we know or realize it's not only me that's dealing with this, there are others as
yes.
well. So I need help, yes, God, with this,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel in my spirit that somebody else is dealing with the same thing.
Yes.
So I believe that this is why God enabled you or placed on your heart to have these platforms. And I think I saw your mother put down on here about transparency is everything. That is so, so true. I want to tell you, Lady Marichelle and Pastor Lockhart, I'm stealing your daughter. I'm stealing her. I'm stealing her only, only, only for a little bit, only a little area, okay? And
Just a
I
little
think I
bit.
saw some aunties on here or whatever stuff. So y'all don't get me, but I'm gonna steal her because she all this knowledge. You have so much knowledge as a young person, and talk to me about how you and I know I'm hopping because I know we had a little
It's
outline, but I'm
okay.
hopping. But talk to me about how we want to bring in the aspect of the church the church and mental health, and uh, how easy or not so easy it was for you to
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, God, this is your will. I'm going to do this. What were the pros and cons of that? How easy was it for you to hop in there knowing I'm a PK? I am a PK.
Yeah.
I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm talking about Gab is a PK. Everybody, not me.
Yes.
I'm the my uncle was a pastor, but not my daddy. But anyway, talk to me about how the pros and cons of that. How hard was it? How difficult was it to get beyond that particular stigma, if you will, to
Mm-hmm.
address the mental health concerns?
Um, it was really hard. I do think that I was blessed to be in the pandemic when it happened because mentally it kind of freed me from the pressure of being the PK and being in church because I was in my bedroom filming these videos and I was really able to see that, okay, God, you're still God. Even if I'm not in this church environment without the pressure of feeling like I'm a pastor's daughter and I need to have it all together and I should be feeling this way, it's like I'm in my bed. I cry in my bed. I be upset in my bed. I be all types of things in my bed, and you're still God. So it was like, okay, well, I guess it's okay for me to just be real. But I do think that I still struggled mentally with just that idea that's kind of put on you as a pastor's kid. It's not necessarily what other people put on you, but it's just the mindset that comes along with the title. My dad started pastoring when I was 13 years old. And so I was still trying to figure out who I was. And I had all these labels placed on me that, like, oh, that's King Lockhart's daughter. And now you're the pastor's daughter. And then you're this girl and you're that girl. I had all these identities put on me as a young girl before I even knew who I was. And so as I started to grow up, I started identifying with who I really am. And I want to drop some of these titles. And so when I entered into my relationship with God and He kept revealing who I am really to myself, I was like, well, you know what? I don't really like that title. I don't like the stigma of I need to have it all together. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to be real. I'm going to be Gabryelle that struggled with anxiety, but God is helping me overcome that. And I have overcome that. And now I'm able to help other people. And so I think it's really just you not identifying with the title or the labels or the pressure of the church or whoever
Mm.
or whatever may be putting that on you. It's like I'm gonna be myself, broken, shattered, bruised, whatever it's gonna be, and I'm gonna take that to God and I'm gonna let Him do His thing because He can't do anything with a facade. What is He gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with that? And so I
Right.
just really the pandemic just kind of dropped the curtains on everybody. And it was like, all right, y'all, we got to be real now. We can't go back into church pretending like these issues don't exist. We can't go back into church pretending like we don't struggle with things because what's the point? What is the point, of coming together and getting in a building and doing all these things together if we're just gonna fake it? We went years not being able to gather with each other. I mean, we couldn't leave our houses, and yet God was still so faithful. He was still so real, and He was still so present. And so I think that was just a time for us to really tap into who we really are and be honest, and let's see what God can do with our rawness. And
Wow.
I'm just a living example of what He can do. He can do that in anybody's life, in
Yes.
any of our lives. I'm just living proof that it can be done. And so I'm really grateful for it. There was really no cons to it. There was no. I felt freed. I felt
Good.
burdens being lifted off of me because I realized I was walking with this stigma and this pressure that I never even had to walk with. I put it on myself, and it never was supposed to be there. And so, I feel free. I feel so free to just be me. And that's such a freeing thing. A lot of people can't say that. And I'm so happy that I can finally say, you know what? I'm showing up as Gabby. This is me. I hope y'all like her, but if y'all don't, that's okay.
I love it. I love it. Take it or leave it, right?
Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. It's up to you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can understand that. I'm right there with you. Totally understand what you're saying. This pandemic really did teach us an awful lot. It taught us a lot about ourselves. And so for an individual such as yourself to go ahead and to, really focus on making sure that you help the people, because that's really what you were doing.
Hmm.
You were helping the people even through the pandemic, because we, were made to stay at home and not go anywhere. What else were we going to do? Okay, here's social media. What's on
Right.
here? What can I look at? What can I, and for you to, want to and desire to put out something that was positive, put out something that, again, the people can relate to. We thank God that you were in that frame of mind to even do that. But yeah, okay, I hear you when you say there were no cons to it. All right, so that meant you hopped on board and didn't look back. Uh, because we know it's not necessarily easy,
It's
being
not.
in church, and like you say, you sometimes some of those labels you put on yourself, but then some of them, yeah, others put on us,
Yes,
or what have you.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Okay, maybe I won't say that there's no cons, but I will say that I wasn't affected by the potential or possible cons.
that's even better.
I wasn't affected by that. I do get a lot of comments sometimes when I do mention therapy, if I do mention mental health, that, you're a believer, you don't need these things. You don't this and that, and that's part of where the stigma comes from, that you kind of can get yourself. And I personally don't really understand that, because it's biblical for us to seek counseling. It's it's biblical for us to seek counseling, because there's wisdom there. And so no
Yes,
one's saying that counseling and therapy is your deliverer or your
right.
healer. It's everything plus Jesus. Everything we do is plus Jesus. We can't even breathe. So, like, yeah, I'm gonna seek counseling because I need some wisdom on what's going on up here. I need some wisdom on
Mhm.
what's going on in here. I need to know, like, what I'm dealing with right now, so I can get to the root of that, and God can heal me and He can deliver me, because now we're on the same page. Now I'm hearing
Yes.
about what God is ready to deliver me from, because I
See,
know. Now we're linked. Now we're rooted. We locked in. It's like, okay, all right, God, I see now. And so that's what it is. And so there's cons to speaking out about it, because I think you will have the people that, I would like to say, they just don't understand. And I hope
that's
that I can even reach those people so that they can really see and understand what it means to seek counsel. But
yeah.
I'm not affected by it. I'm so
Okay.
rooted and grounded in what God has me doing, and I feel amazing. And so I'm not gonna go back to the shackle place. So I'm not affected by it at all.
Listen, oh my goodness. You guys, we're just a half hour in. We have another half hour to go. But if you're just now joining us, I am talking to this wonderful young woman of God. She is really inspiring me all the more she talks. She just doesn't know it. Gabryelle Lockhart is here today. She's a social media influence, content creator. And we're talking about how to address, improve, help mental health through our passion. And so, if you're just not joining us, you may have to rewind once we're done to go back to the beginning. But this is a great conversation that is needed.
Mm.
We must have it. And if you have any questions or comments for her on today, throw them into the comment section. I'm going to hop right over here right now and address some of these individuals because I've gotten all wrapped up in this conversation with her on today. I want I want to see if I missed anybody here. Let's see. Okay, I'm scrolling down. Powerful mentality. Did I show that? Yes, I totally agree, Mom.
Thanks,
Yes,
mommy.
girl. She says. She said that's great. Yeah, I understand. And who is this? Arletha. That's T's
Oh, that's
baby.
my TT. Yeah, that's my TT
Okay.
Lisa.
Oh, TT Letha. You're gonna have to share her with me. Okay. I just said that right. Janice, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you for liking and sharing. Lady Marichelle says, I did show this already. Transparency is everything. So true.
Mhm.
So true. Expose him. Yes, expose the enemy. TT Letha, am I saying that right? Tell on the devil. Yes.
Yes.
All right. All right. She said, no, I can't have it. Okay, she's transparent. Well, I'm going to try. Oh, Mama said, thou shalt not.
Oh.
Well, y'all gonna have to talk to the Lord because I'm
Yeah.
just a little bit of stealing. All right, he's still God. That's right. Hey, Beatrice, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. Great afternoon to you. No more pretending. That's right. Speak, my child, says Pastor. Wisdom, what does it say? Wisdom is there. I love it. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. I'm the multitude of counselors in the multitude. I believe
Mm-hmm.
that's what you said. There is safety. That is so true, Pastor Lockhart. So true. And why don't we kind of segue with that? Because I did want to talk a little bit more about that therapy because we know that people shy away from it, and that's not something that they will gravitate to when they have issues that they could benefit from through therapy. Excuse me, should I say in our community?
Mm-hmm.
um, because if you look outside of our community, they are go there in a hot second, split second, needing therapy for whatever it is that they're facing. I am grateful though, and I'll say this, and you're probably a witness to this, that the tides are changing. It
Yes.
seems like we're coming a little bit more comfortable with
Mm-hmm.
talking about therapy, not only talking about it, but going ahead and reaching out. I've shared this many times with individuals. First time author as of last year, I am. And while I was writing my book, because of the sensitivity of the subject,
Mm-hmm.
I was dealing with grief and dealing with bereavement,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a lot for me to go through. And when I took on the task, I did question God. I said, why am I writing about this? And why
Mm-hmm.
39 years later? This already
Mm-hmm.
happened. But I learned so much about myself while writing. You mentioned earlier, Gab, about how, as far as anxiety is concerned,
Mm-hmm.
you had anxiety before you realized that it was anxiety.
Yes.
There were some things that I was dealing with mentally after my brother's death that I didn't even realize that I was going through. I didn't
Yeah.
realize the PTSD that I was suffering from. And
Mm-hmm.
so while writing this book, I literally had to break down and call a therapist to have counseling sessions while I'm in the midst of writing this book. I
Wow.
had to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to say that that was my idea first because that was my husband's idea. I guess he saw me crying too many times when I was writing this book. I would
Mm-hmm.
just boo hoo cry. And he's, babe, don't you think you need to call a therapist?
Pen,
Now
you
he's
call
an elder.
somebody.
Yes, he's an elder. He's a preacher. He didn't just say, come on, let's just pray and let's just no. He said, he was praying, but maybe you
Mm-hmm.
need to call a therapist. Maybe you need to
Mm-hmm.
call a counselor. And I took heed to that and I did that. So yeah, I love how you addressed therapy and
Mm-hmm.
how important it is, and not to look at it um, like it's a god, or
Right.
something that it's the savior. No,
Mm-hmm.
I like how you talk about it more. How can we get that across more and more to people about the therapy and the counseling?
Well, I think first talking about your own experience with it. I was blessed enough to work with Faithful Counseling that's underneath BetterHelp. And I was able to really share my experience of what it was like to talk to a therapist to my followers to offer them the opportunity. Because I think another aspect of the lack of our community going to therapy is the cost. It's expensive, and everybody doesn't have the access to those funds. So I was really grateful to work with them to kind of offer some sort of alleviation to the expense of it all. But I was also able to share what this did for me, how it changed my perspective on everything. Anxiety was a really, really big demon in my life. It prevented me
Yeah,
from doing everything, from driving, from socializing, from, living my life. And the older I got, the more frustrated I got with it because the more I wanted to do things. The older, the more mature I got, the more independent I got. And I'm like, okay, I want to do this, but I can't because I'm anxious. And so being able to see a therapist that had the same faith as me, the same belief as me. We both believe in God. So after we talk in these sessions, there's the homework of, hey, here's what I want you to pray about. And then I want you to write down these things. And then I want you to, so therapy is not, like I said, the healer. It's not the deliverer. It's not a genie in a bottle. You go and you talk with people who are educated on how human emotions work, how our minds work, all of that. And they're educated in this field the same way that you would go see a doctor if your arm was broken. You know, they're educated on what bones need to heal and how they need to put a cast on it and what you need to do to allow it to heal. It's the same thing. Your mind can be just as broken as a bone in your body. It can be bruised. It can be just in need of some repair and some healing. And that's what therapy helps you along the journey of doing. And so I think we need to talk about it more. I think we need to be aggressive about it, talking about it more, and not being
Mhm.
afraid to be like, oh, I don't want to mention this because what will so and so think about me transitioning to this mindset? Talk about it because this is the mindset we should have. Like I said, it's biblical to seek counseling. And so I think also if a lot more people saw leaders, pastors, bishops, elders, whatever, who holds the important titles in the church, talking
Yes.
about, hey, I'm going to therapy. Hey, I'm this, I'm that, being transparent about the fact that you even need it, even if you're not going yet. Talking
Mm,
about that so that people within our community see you in this big position in their eyes, saying that, like, hey, I'm going to therapy. You should go to therapy. Use your influence that you have to talk about this and spread awareness about it and continue to be vulnerable and transparent because that's really what reaches the hearts of people. And I think that's what we need to reach in order to change the narrative surrounding therapy within our community.
I like that. Yeah. Because people can they can understand and relate when you bring your own experiences into it and try to
Absolutely.
relate that. Yeah. Okay. I love that. I think somebody said on here that was a great analogy. I totally agree. Totally agree. Change the narrative. We have to. Amen, says Pastor Lockhart. Uh-huh. All right. All right. Oh, Apostle Dion, thank you for coming in. We appreciate you. Let's see here. Nicole says, hey, my baby doll. All right.
Hi.
Great and needed conversation. I totally agree, Lady Marichal. This we have to, and um, we have to keep talking about it too. Even though, like we say, the tides are changing a little bit, so like
Mhm.
people are opening up more. Um, be encouraged to continue on. With the discussion, having
Right.
that conversation, as Lady Marichal say, because sometimes, and I'm just going to be trans. We talk about transparency. I'm be
Mhm.
transparent, and even with the show, with my Sash Talk vlogs and podcasts. Sometimes, the enemy try to tell you, you talking about this again. You talking about this
Mhm.
again. Somebody needs it though.
Mhm.
Somebody really, really needs it. And I know that's just his tactic of trying to get me to stop doing it, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I know what God has commissioned me to do, and so you said that has said the same thing. So I do encourage you to continue on because you're helping. You're helping a great people, a great amount of people, and they're being blessed by what you are sharing. Let's see. Danielle says, "Come on now, Gabby, show us how great and
I
awesome
love
you are."
you.
We appreciate you guys for coming in. We really do. Arletha says, so that people will feel comfortable about going because we were taught back in the day that we should go to God. Yeah.
Mhm.
And we talked about that earlier, Arletha, and it's not, there's no way that we are pushing God out the box. I can't do that.
No.
This is how I grew up. This is how I came along. Um,
Exactly.
and God and you gave a great analogy too, as far as the medical doctors. What
Mhm.
are we gonna do if I cut myself, I slice my arm? If I do, I'm gonna immediately go try and get into the emergency room or go see a doctor about my physical body.
Exactly. I think it's a little ignorant to assume that God isn't in everything that we do.
Come on, come on.
I think it's a little ignorant to assume that God isn't in therapy, to assume that God isn't in the hospital, in the doctor's office, that God isn't in the seatbelts that we put on when we get in the car. You know, all these
Yes.
precautions that we take, these earthly precautions that we take, I think it's ignorant to assume God isn't in that, because he
Right.
is in that. So me
Yes.
going and seeking counseling is me going to God. It's a form of me going to God. I may not be kneeling on my knees in prayer in my therapy session, but it's a form of me finding God in a different way. And so I think we need to stop limiting God and stop keeping him in this box as if he's not capable of reaching us through other ways and other platforms, things that are healthy for us. You know, we're not
Mhm.
telling you to go to the bar and get drunk. We're telling you to go and talk about your traumas. Talk about things you need to heal from. Talk about things that have been beating you up subconsciously and you don't
Yeah.
even realize it. So I think God is very much so in that and very much so present in that. And so that is a form of going to God. And I think that we need to change our mindset of feeling like God is separate from every other thing that we do in our lives. He's not.
Mhm. He's not. He's
He's not.
not. Oh my goodness. Ooh, I just love this. Y'all, I'm gonna have to, we're gonna have to talk behind, how my late pastor used to say when they in church and the praise gets so good, he said, I might have to take this out behind, like you say, back behind the barn and keep my praise going. Gab and I, we're gonna be talking offline. I just want y'all to know. Okay.
Talk offline.
Uh, we gonna talk out loud. All right, let me see what y'all saying over here. Get some help, says our Letha. Mom is encouraging us. Don't stop Annette and Gab. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna do what God tells us to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I take him everywhere I go, says Danielle. Yes,
Everywhere.
yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Stop limiting God. Yeah, take him out that box. Thank you,
Take them
Nicole.
out.
Take him out that box. Yes, yes, yes. All right, preach, TT baby. Yeah, we know that's her TT. I get it. All right. That's right. Change our mindset.
Brenda.
Yes, Brenda Anthony, we appreciate you. Danielle says, I even thank God for ordaining people of God, such as yourself, with the knowledge and wisdom to speak to troubled
Oh wow,
individuals.
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and, and it's important. It's
Yes.
important. Let me piggyback off of that comment a little bit here. So when did you start getting into the area of psychology? Was that always something that you desired to be involved in? Did that form over time or what?
It actually, for as long as I can remember, I loved to counsel people. My friends, they would be coming to me when we were like 8, 9 years old. When I first got my first sidekick cell phone, I would be texting them about these issues they were going through in their lives. I mean, like real issues that I had no business at like 10, 11 years old, even knowing how to address these things. I mean, like parental traumas and all types of things that they were going through. And I loved it. I didn't know that it was called anything underneath the field of psychology at that time, but I knew that I loved it. And when I went to apply for college, I actually applied to Columbia College at first because I was like, I really don't know what I want to go to school for. I was like, but I know I'm creative. And so let me go to Columbia. I went downtown and I grew up in the suburbs my whole life. And so the minute I saw how busy it was, I didn't see no bushes, no squirrels running by. I was like, I was like, this is not for me. I cannot do this city life. This is not it. I gotta find somewhere where squirrels will come up and basically talk to me because this is their home just as much as it's mine. And so I ended up applying to Purdue and I saw that they had the major of psychology and I realized I'm like, hey, I was like, this is what I've been liking to do my whole life. Let me just go ahead and dive into that. If the creative thing fails, at least I can fall back on psychology. And now I'm
Right.
seeing that it was always part of God's plan because he's just morphed the two together. And like I said, stop putting them in a box. Who says you can't do psychology and fashion and you can't be creative and also promote what I'm telling you to talk to the people about. And so he's just merging my two worlds that I was thought was so opposite together and like uniquely crafting this calling and this gift that he has given me. And so yeah, it was always there. It had to grow into what it was gonna become.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
You're leaving me speechless today.
Oh
Only because that there are so many similarities between you and I.
no!
There really are.
Wow.
Well, I'll talk to you about them.
Yeah, we
Off
gotta, we gotta, we gotta get the tea
Yeah, yeah.
offline.
There's so many times. That's why I'm looking at you like, wow. Like, okay,
Hmm.
it's almost like I'm seeing my life when you're saying.
Wow.
This is good stuff, though. Good stuff. Let's see. Mom says it was always his plan. Uh huh. All right.
Mm.
Yeah. Obviously, and she came to the realization of it. As your big cousin, I have noticed the anointing and appointing on your life. Oh, come on now, to be
Oh
a blessing to
wow.
so many. Come on and
Oh, I
speak,
love it.
Danielle.
Wow. Thank
Yes,
you.
beautiful. She said, "Not the squirrels." I was
Yes,
laughing.
girl, the squirrels. I need some squirrels in my life. They gotta be there. I need some deer in the backyard or something. Like I can't. Mm-mm. There was like no animals downtown. I'm like, where are the animals? They're not there. I can't do it. Mm-mm. I can't do it.
I
It's
am
too
literally
busy for me.
crying.
I love it chill. I can vibe with the squirrels. You know why the squirrels don't run away in the suburbs? Because it's chill. They feel safe there. I think of me as a squirrel. Too much going on, I'm a skedaddle. I'm get out of here. I'm gonna run up a
I
tree,
get it.
and I need to be where I can see a vantage point. I need to see what's happening around me. It's too many tall buildings downtown. Too many people walking too many different ways. Everybody has somewhere to go. Y'all need to go home. I I would like to travel to my destination without everybody else traveling at the same time. If that was like possible. So I needed a campus where I could walk to class and I would be like walking to class with three other people and not like the whole entire city of Chicago. You know,
I am in tears over
I
here.
just I needed that.
I am in tears.
I'm a suburban girl at heart. It would just never change.
Right. I get it. I totally get it. I'm laughing because I understand. That's why I'm laughing. Okay. All right. So, all right. So, the little time we have left, oh my God, it's like we only have like 10 minutes left.
Yes.
Let's see. Now when you run from spiders,
See, she's exposing me. That I also run from them too. I said animals, not creatures. I don't know.
I do too. That's okay. I do too. I run from them as well. I sure do.
Yeah, we don't do
All right.
spiders.
Let me pull one of my other questions as we end on today.
Okay.
Um, Now, we talk about your passion for fashion, but also for
Hmm.
raising awareness concerning mental health. You told us when everything started with with getting this particular your platforms together in social
Hmm.
media. Um, I want to ask you this.
Okay.
You seem to be shy.
Hmm.
Was this hard for you to master? You seem quiet.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Tell us why and then how you were able to overcome it. I mean, I know you kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. I want to make sure I do God's will, but maybe
Hmm.
something else you want to add to that because there are others that are looking. They're
Yeah.
watching you. And
Yeah.
and so they understand, okay, I can take, what I'm passionate about too to, help address, situations such as these.
Hmm.
So kind of tell us how you kind of got over that, or are you still working through it? And then maybe
Yeah.
to encourage someone else.
Well, actually, I had a girl talk on my YouTube channel, and someone asked me something kind of similar. They're like, I'm really shy, but I feel like God is calling me to like something else. He's telling me to do these things. And I answered the question by saying, it's okay to be a shy, bold girl. I would like to identify as a shy, bold girl. I am quiet, it's part of my personality. I'm an introvert, but I can be extroverted when I need to be. And so I think that I kind of overcame it by accepting all these parts of myself and just allowing God to do what He's going to do. So He's like, it's okay if you're shy today, but tomorrow I need you to go on Annette's show and I need you to talk. And so it's like, okay, God, well, all right, let me come out of the shell. When the show is over, kick my feet up, get me some fruit, and I'm back in my shell. Don't talk to me, leave me alone, because, okay? But it's like, it's okay. It's okay to be a shy, bold girl, a quiet, bold girl, because I know that when I do speak, I have God's voice behind me. And so I feel strong. I feel empowered when I do have to open my mouth and do these big girl things. Now, because
Yeah.
it's not me. It's not me. It's God through me. And the more that I embrace that, the stronger I feel, because I know He can do anything. You can talk to these people. You created these people. So you not fearing them. I'm not gonna fear them. Go ahead, talk. As long as you're with me, I can do this. And so
Yeah.
I'm still in my personality of being more of an introverted girl, and I have to recharge my social batteries. I can't constantly be social, 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 network, network, network. I have to come back home. I have to
Okay.
recharge, because that's just part of my personality. And I think there's people that are out there that are less shy than me and they're more extroverted than me. And so this may not be a struggle for them, but something is. But this was my thing where I had to really just give it over to God and be like, you already know how you made me. This is
Okay.
literally, I didn't adapt this personality. This is just who I am. And so I'm going to need
Right.
your help to, do what you're calling me to do. And He's never let me down. He's never failed. Even coming on the show today, I had a little bit of jitters. I was really quiet this morning. I was like, okay, like we're doing this. But now that we've made it through it, I feel so good. I feel so confident. And so, to encourage people, I would say to just trust that God is going to show up with you. He's
Okay.
never going to put you out there and not back you up. That's a fact. I can attest to that. He will always back you up every single time. Just make sure you bring him with you.
Oh, and that's the key, right? Bring them with you.
That's
That's right.
it. That's it.
I love that. I love that. Yes, Nicole, she said a shy, bold girl. You better come on now. I
Hmm.
never heard of that concept, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Do y'all know I'm shy too?
You see? And it doesn't
I'm,
seem like it.
I'm
A
very shy.
shy, bold girl.
I'm
That's a
very shy.
thing. It's a thing. So that's official. I've got a witness now. It's officially a thing. Shy,
It's
bold
officially
girl.
a thing. Right. There you go. There you go. All right. I love it. Okay. So Danielle says, I love this because even though you are shy, God shines boldly through you.
Oh, that's
That's
beautiful.
so
Yes,
true.
that's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Mhm. God will back you up. That's right. He sure
Every
will.
time.
Every time. That's a brand, baby doll. All right. See that? Grab that. Grab
Okay.
that brand. That's so true,
Let
Nicole.
me go and
Uh-huh.
trademark that.
There you go. Do it, honey. And she said it first here on Get Caught in the Net. Uh-huh.
This is my proof. This is my evidence.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's encouraging. I hope those who are watching, those who are even contemplating, trying to take their own personal passion and turning it, around to benefit others, to help others, whether it's through mental health or other areas, that they will be encouraged to do so. Given what you have shared with us on today, this is, and she's such a natural. She really is. When you go on, she's like, "Hi, lovelies. Hello, lovelies." Someone, lovelies, lovelies. And I'm looking, I'm just watching, I'm just listening on her. And she just talking, and then she'll take the questions, I don't know. I think she just now seeing the questions, and then she'll just answer them just like,
Yeah.
I'm like, where does this young person get all this wisdom from? Where? I'm like, but it's so impressive and it's so encouraging. It really is.
Mm.
And you are helping somebody. You are definitely helping somebody on today. Any final words for everyone on today? And then after you do that, let us know where we can find you.
Okay. Well, I do want to just make one note to when you ask where do I get all this wisdom from. I do owe like a huge amount of that to my wonderful parents. I mean, me and my dad used to have deep talks about this types of stuff at like 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. When I was a little girl, I would just sit on the couch and talk to him, or he would come in my room and talk to me, and I would be up, and he would be up because he's up praying, and I'm up for whatever reason. And we would come, we have conversations together. My mom is literally just, she's an embodiment of wisdom. I learned just from watching her without her saying anything. And so I have really, really good examples, and I'm so blessed and thankful for that. But as I grew up, God just enhanced what they already had trained me up to be. So I do owe it to them. I love them. They are my biggest cheerleaders, supporters, and I couldn't do this without them. So I do want to
Beautiful.
give a tribute to them. And I am active every single day on my Instagram at Gabryelle Lockhart. My YouTube channel is also under my name, Gabryelle Lockhart, and you can find me on TikTok on Gabryelle Lockhart, spelled exactly how it is on the screen.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
So you guys cannot miss her. She is everywhere. She's all over. And they're in other continents watching her and following her. I said it.
You
Yep.
said
But this has been tremendous. Thank you again for coming. But I am serious. We have to connect after this show. There's something that I want to run past you that I believe God would be pleased with. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But again, thank you for coming on, for sharing, for giving us the tea. We're talking about your social media platforms and how you've been influenced and how you influence others as well. So again, thank you so much, Gabryelle. We love and appreciate you, and we bid you Godspeed and pray that God will continue to bless you and all that you're doing, all for His glory,
yes.
so that He would get the glory. You be encouraged. Be encouraged. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you and this
You're,
opportunity so, so, so much. So thank you.
you're welcome. You're so welcome. Lady Marichelle, how about this? I'll just call her my psychology daughter. Is that okay? Can I at least do that?
I, I
Uh,
think I think that's okay. I'll take the reins on this one and say I think that's all right. Everybody just relax. That's okay. That's okay.
that is funny. That is too funny. Well, thank you so much for backing me up on that. I appreciate that.
Every time. I got you.
All right. All right. She got me. She got me. All right. Let me see what else you guys are saying as we're exiting on today. I see Danielle says, my prayer at any time I have come before people ministering through music because I'm nervous and shy. I pray less of me, God, and more of you. I
Mm-hmm.
totally get it because you don't want to be in self. You want Him to get the glory. It's in her genes,
It
Arlita said.
is.
That's
It's
right.
there.
Beautiful. You're definitely helping somebody. All right. Yes, yes, yes. We love you, Gab, says Mom. The greatest pastor and first lady ever. I would agree with
Ever.
that. Come on now. Yes, Gabby, love you, and I pray God continues to endow you with His wisdom and
I
knowledge.
love you.
Our mom says, great show. Nicole says, thanks for inviting me. I love you, baby doll. Great job. I
Love
like
you
that little
too.
name she
Thank
got from
you.
you. Sweet. Viewing from Trinidad. See? Let's talk
Oh,
about some countries. And I'm not going to even pronounce that other name, but we
Trinidad
see
and oh
Trinidad.
wow. Okay, come
See?
on. I love it.
I think I got the approval. Mom says that's fine. All
All
right.
right.
Thank you so much. God bless your ministry, Lady Marichelle. Yes, she is shy, but sweet, kind, always have kind words for others, and she can sing.
Oh,
Yes, you get that honest too, right? Right. Oh, thank you, Pastor
yes, she
Lockhart.
is. She
That's
is.
so sweet.
She
So
is.
sweet. Brenda says, God bless you and really nice interview. Thank you. Thank you all so much again for joining us on today. I'm going to exit on today as we end. I want to make sure that we show you what we have for next week. And you won't be disappointed. You won't be disappointed. We are moving
Tune in
into
next week.
yes, yes, yes. We're moving into our fourth Wednesday of the month, which we feature our health and wellness segment with Dr. Shirley Hill. So stay tuned. I'm going to make sure that I post the promotion for it, and so that you will stick with us. God gives us wisdom. This week we talked about the mental aspect, our mental health. Next week we're going to talk about our physical health. So all of it is important. All of it is key. So, all right, Gab, we will see you. Okay, don't
Okay.
forget. I'm gonna connect with you. And again, thanks for your time on today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you're welcome. Take care, sweetie.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, take a look at the promo for next week, and we will see you soon.
On the next session of Get Caught in a Net.
Get caught in a net with Annette. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with Annette. It's your intellectual radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with Annette. Get caught in a net with Annette.